Yo. Welcome to another episode of the Indian Dots podcast. This week, we discuss the following. When did Asians choose to celebrate Christmas or begin to? What's the correct amount of money to spend on advent calendars? What our thoughts were on the domestic violence episode with Godwin, and why Google are looking to fire unvaccinated employees. And we sort of go into vaccines a little bit, but not too much, so it's overkill. If you want to learn more, just find out and click through to the next episode where Karan will tell us more about his Hackett jumper. Safe. Thank you. See you there. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the Indian Dots podcast. It is episode 51 with 2 mics and 2 stands and 2 sings 2 weeks before Christmas. It's fucking amazing. And Goran's wearing a new jumper, which is sick. He's finally wearing branded kapare, even though it's kapare for a 40-year-old. Word of the week, kapare. Kapare is clothing. Now,
sponsored by, this episode is sponsored by Hackett.
Yeah, it's not sponsored by Hackett. I wouldn't approve that, man. Hackett. Jeez. Hackett. Do you know how old that brand is? Honestly.
Okay. I don't know how many times we have to talk about this. You aspire to be a gentleman, the Kingsman Code.
Shut up.
Why do you want to be a gentleman? Why do you want to be a
gentleman who wears a fleece? Don't try it. You pick and choose
listen,
rules whenever you want to.
No,
bend it however you want.
There's nothing wrong with fleece. Gentlemen wear fleeces. And that fleece is branded. It's Berghaus. So you say it's not branded. It is branded. I'm just consistent with my brand. Whereas you, Flippy Floppy.
Mate, I don't care.
Flippy Floppy, Mr. Grenade. Mr. Grenade.
I love Grenade. Yeah, I get sponsored by Grenade. Let's go. Give me some protein bars, man.
And Lakers, you listen, with all your reach and all this shit you buy, they should be sponsoring you, man.
I know, man. Once a month sponsor. Look out for me. Indy Karan each month. Safe. Thank you.
The King. Reach out to the King, man. I want to get there. James.
Hit me up, Grenade. Hit me up, man.
No, James. King don't get there.
LeBron.
Yeah, man. But like, listen,
Kobe. All of them.
My boy. Kobe, that's it. My boy in it.
Oh, love it. So, Karan, I have, for those of you that don't know, this week, Karan has no idea what the fuck we're talking about. So I'm going to basically run things by him and you're going to see a live reaction. So I hope you guys are ready for this because it's going to be fun. Right, Karan, question number 1. What is a normal amount of money to spend on an advent calendar?
Ooh, good question. I have a funny story about advent calendars as well. I want to say no more than £5.
No more than £5, yeah? Okay. What if I told you there's an advent calendar out there worth £25,000?
Yeah, unsurprising. But you said what's the average amount?
Yeah. I say
that's not surprising.
We expect. No, I'm not saying average. I'm saying what do you expect is a reasonable amount? Yeah.
Yeah. But in the same way, you have people who charge that guy, Mr. Salt Bay, for his food, extraordinary amounts.
You know, he's pissed off now. Yeah, he closed down his restaurant and
left London. Yeah, he's like, people aren't paying enough. He's come back to the
amount of money
Middle
he must
East.
have cleaned up on. Oh my God.
So yeah, okay, 25 grand. Unsurprising given the world that we live in.
Do you know what's in the 25 grand advent calendar?
Do tell me.
It's a jewelry advent calendar.
Jewelry.
COVID. Yeah, it's a jewelry. It's a jewelry advent calendar.
Any particular brand?
It's called Ingle and Rhodes. I've never heard of.
So the jewelry is that brand.
£28,000, but you can price it at 20. But you buy it for £25,000. So really,
discount.
You're investing money and you're getting money out of it.
Yeah,
so
£3 grand.
If you think about it that way, it's worth it.
It's a flip.
Flip it on its head. Yeah.
Okay.
Insane. Have you got within it? You get fine jewelry, necklaces, earrings, cufflinks, and apparently the value of each thing gets bigger and bigger towards Christmas Day. And apparently, the piece de resistance, which is what's written in this article, comes Christmas morning unpack, and it shows a beautiful engagement ring with a sapphire oval that is worth £4,495.
Which, if you look at it in isolation, so when you're proposing, as a gentleman, you may spend that much on a ring, so that's not unreasonable.
Yeah,
that one bit in isolation. Yeah. I mean, that's like a super expensive proposal, really, isn't it? It's like building up the 25 days of Christmas. There's a song, isn't it? The 12 days of Christmas, and what I gave to you, partridge and pear tree and all that. Forget that. Yeah. Now they're saying, give me all
the sauna, let's go.
Oh my God, that's and there are people who will buy it. I mean, I don't know what the figures are, how many are sold, and that kind of thing.
I don't know, man. I just saw it and I just thought this is way too much, because I was talking to people at work and they were saying they've bought advent calendars worth like 90, 100 quid. And I was thinking that's a bit excessive, but within that comes like makeup stuff though. And I'm thinking, hang on, how do you
maybe I'm
get?
too old, man.
Yeah,
What is the
like makeup stuff comes within
no
it.
no?
And
But
then I spoke to, gone.
calendar, open the little box, chocolate. That's it.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I'm
That's
pretty
it.
sure chocolate comes in it. Actually, you
Okay.
know what? I wouldn't be surprised if chocolate doesn't come in it. Right?
Mm,
It's crazy, man. But 80
mm,
to 90 pounds on like about like a makeup thing or something that you can get with it.
mm,
There's other stuff by like Dior that can be worth about £400,
mm,
and you get different types of, fragrance, makeup, etc., and skincare. So
mm.
£400. See, now that I told you the 25,000 one, told you £400. The £400 one sounds reasonable now, isn't it? Sounds like, oh,
Basic,
that's not too bad at all.
basic marketing, man. McDonald's 99p saver menu.
Mate,
Yeah. See, when you
99p
see that,
saving menu. You know what?
when
I
you
want to
see
try that
that,
one time. I'll try it.
you've never had it.
I've never had it. What's it like? Is it unfilling?
You see, you're such a bougie little guy.
No, I haven't been to Mackey's
You
in a
are
very long
not
time.
frugal at all, man,
I haven't
Mister.
been to
Yeah.
Mackey's in a very long time.
Okay. Yeah, it's very good. Does the job. I think that's all needs to be
But
said.
does it fill me up, Karen? You know my appetite. Does it fill me up?
Okay, so put it this way. So, all right, if you went to McDonald's, what would you normally get,
I
burger
would
wise?
normally get a burger
Okay.
meal. I would
So
normally
let
get some
okay,
nuggets,
okay.
and I would get some a cheeseburger after as well.
It's quite a bit. Okay. And what would the average spend be on that?
I don't know. I haven't been in a very long time. I can tell
It's
you.
more. It's more than £10. I think you can close
Probably about a
£15
tenner.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably more. You get well. Yeah, Charlie. Okay, let's say it's £10, right?
5 nuggets,
Let's
FYI. Not fucking 20, but five. Or chicken selects. That'll do.
let's say your burger is a McChicken sandwich or the Chicken Legend, right?
Yeah.
You could get if you wanted, you could get 10 chicken mayo burgers, 99p each.
Ooh, shit.
And there's
Okay.
there's no way you're gonna eat that many. Like it's just you won't need that many. Even for you, maybe 3, 4, and you're good. And you're spending like peanuts.
It's just a burger. There's no chips or anything. It's just a burger.
Yeah,
Mm.
reasonable. But their marketing is very clever, isn't it? Make sure you have something that appeals for the person that wants to spend £10, like Indy, and then the person that wants to spend £1, like me, will spend £1. Frugality, mate.
You just get a single burger and that's it. Are you happy with that?
Do you know what it is? The way I use McDonald's is I use it as like filler food. So if I know that okay, I'm in between meetings, physical meetings, so I got to move around. I need something that ties me over. Three normal options are, and I have this thing in my head. It's like for that type of food, it's not sit down. It needs to serve a purpose, fill me up a little bit until the main meal at some point. Is I never want to spend more than £5. That's the number in my head, right?
Mm.
So meal deal, something from Greg's or McDonald's, something just to the point, no faff, gets the job done. I.e., a little bit fuller, fine, done, move on. Mate, that's your top listeners today. That's your top money saving tip. Okay,
Money saving expert, man. Current saving
Absolutely.
expert. Let's go. Website.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna set that up right now and charge you a bump for it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
buddy.
On that note, the best way to save money, you know what it is?
Gone.
Make more money.
Ooh,
It sounds
wise
really
words.
obvious. No, but it sounds really obvious. But a lot of people will try and cut their expenses, which is important, but you'll never be at the rate at which you can increase your income. Focus on increasing your income. And then the bonus is when you cut down your expenses and look at what you actually really need. And then, like I've always said, that is the basis of frugality. Frugality is not about being cheap. It's about understanding what is and isn't important to you and focusing
Yeah, but
on that.
equally, you'll spend money on things that are expensive because you want to spend money on things that are expensive.
That's what I
Like,
just said. That's what I just said.
people will do that.
What's important? Yeah, exactly. You want to buy a Lakers top that's signed by Kobe Bryant, right? For I don't know, let's say £100,000 charity auction, right?
Yeah.
You got the funds, and you buy and it makes you happy. That's absolutely fine. What I'm saying is, then the other shit that no one cares, well, you don't care about, don't spend stupid amounts of money on that. That's living frugally. Frugally is not being cheap. It's spending on things that you get value and that you enjoy. Not doing it for the Joneses, not like buying, like XYZ because you think it'll impress. And this is what society expects of me. So, for example, as a doctor, it'd be like, oh, you should be driving a certain car, right? Expectation. You should be wearing certain clothes. These are our expectations.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I turn up with my Berkhouse jacket, but then when you listen to when I speak and you listen to this, then you forget about what I'm wearing and all that kind of stuff. So people need to focus on that. Increase this value, and whatever else you do.
What's this
people
value
fall
and
in
this
line.
value for those that are listening?
This and this being, I don't know why I said two. Increase your mind, increase your value as a person, right? Mind and body. become a critical thinker, have opinions, be engaging in the way you speak to people. And then the other things don't matter as much to people, man. They really, really don't matter. When I turn up and I see patients and, I'm not wearing a shirt and a tie, I'm there with a scrub top and blue chinos, my uniform every single day, 5 days a week. And I tell them I'm senior medical registrar and they listen and then, make them feel good. They don't care. They don't care what I'm wearing. Really doesn't matter. Do you get me? So Advent calendars. Anyway, coming back to that.
Advent calendars.
Tradition. I don't know how we got there. Tradition in our house is my mum will get Advent calendars for us. Just a thing mum does. And then it's so funny. So the other day I was like, Mum, I don't seem to have an Advent calendar. My sister had one, and I was like, oh, okay, bit of favoritism going on here. I was like, Mum, where's mine? And she's like, oh yeah, I got it. It's just I forgot it in the boot. I was like, okay. And then I came home one day and I found it in my bedroom on the bedside. It's like it's a snowman one. So Raymond Briggs is a snowman walking in the air. That theme. Really beautiful big calendar. And the first one had already been opened. I presume she indeed opened it. I was like, okay, so she didn't wait for me. She just opened it. It's a joint calendar this year. So I go to box number 2, expecting to find a chocolate, and I find a candle. And then I look at the back of the Advent calendar. I was like, oh, this has no chocolate in it. It's all candles. So I see Mum, and I'm like, Mum, she's like, well, you said you want to be healthy. You're going to the gym, you're doing all the bulking and stuff. She's like, and you like your smells. So no chocolates. So I was like, oh. So yeah. So
how unhappy were you on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think there was an initial level of shock, and then I've managed to procure and source other forms of chocolate.
In that moment, how upset were you? Give me a number. Give me a number. Come on, man. Be honest. Give me a number.
Minus 10, man. Broken,
Minus 10. Hang on. So that means that you were very, very happy.
How are you working this out?
I said on a scale of 1 to 10, how unhappy were you? You said minus 10.
No, it depends on how you're defining that. Are you saying 10's the most happiest, or
from 1 to 10? How happy were you?
Is 10 the most happy, or is 1 the most happy?
Yeah, 10's the most happy.
Yeah, so I've gone even below that. I'm saying minus 10. It's even lower than 1, man. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, that's true. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I said that wrong. Works. Sorry.
One.
I'll take that. Fair play.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you heard in the week as well. Who is it? Tony's Chocolate. Have you heard about them? They're like a fair trade chocolate brand.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I've had the chocolate.
In their Advent calendar, they missed a day out to basically highlight to people there's a problem with like chocolate and fair trade in the world and etc.
Problem is intentionally.
Yeah, they did it intentionally, and the problem was kids complained saying they felt cheated that there wasn't a chocolate on that day, so Tony's had to issue an apology.
Oh my god!
So they try to do something. They do something good, and it backfired so badly they had to apologize.
What is the world we live in, man?
Entitlement, man. It's like, wow.
Where is my chocolate?
I bought it. Where is it?
Yeah, I paid fair. Well, probably didn't pay. I don't know how much you pay for that calendar. But yeah, man, no more than a £5. That's my general rule to a lot of things, actually. How much is reasonable to spend on this? And then I love.
You're wearing?
This was 30% off. It's only reasonable.
Yeah, but how much was it?
It was 60 quid.
60 quid for a jumper. Fair enough. Okay. I'd say a Levi's jumper is about 30, 40. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, premium brand. It's going to serve me for at least 5 to 10 years minimum.
If you don't get any dial stains on it, it's pure white, man.
Which, like your NASA top, it's only going to be worn for very special occasions, like podcasts.
Yes, it has to be worn on very special occasions.
Which is why I have a second one, which is salmon pink, which is more for outdoor.
Salmon, hello, turning into
you may have seen it. We went to see Socorgula on the weekend. Comedian Aura there. I look very hench in that picture. I will send it to you. I was very happy. The angles were just so on point. Side point, guys. If you want to see this picture,
himself now.
Just give me a comment if you want to see that picture, and I will post it. I'll do side by side so you get a bit of a perspective. I'm in a good mood today. Although
this whole little hack with the white jumper thing. Yeah.
Go on.
Whenever you're gonna eat, don't wear it. Change clothes. If you're gonna go out,
Paran does.
Change clothes. You don't.
What does Paran do? What does Paran do at Medics courses?
What does he do?
He takes it off. He just takes it off.
What? Just straight banana?
Yeah. Or when we're when we're setting up the model arms and we have the fake blood and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, no. He can't risk it. If we're driving to a taster, he won't wear it. Like he'll wear something else, but he'll have it hung in the back on a hanger. Like, he's very. Whereas I'm like living on the edge all the time, man. I wear it for
No,
everything.
I
I'm
can't
like,
do it because I've tried to get stains out of white cuppa and I've nearly cried. Honestly, it's actually broken me how I've had like white spots. Sorry, no, food stains on like a white t-shirt. It hurts me, man, to my core.
you
Can't be
speak to your
handling
dad.
it.
I'm sure your dad has a
No, I
Desi
need to talk
Elias
to my
for it.
mum. My mum says get some Vanish, but the problem is though is that the
Vanish
Vanish
leaves its own white,
it still leaves a
yeah,
little like tinge
white
of
stain.
difference. And I'm like,
Uh,
oh fuck, it doesn't work.
a
Yeah,
jar
man, it
maybe,
hurts.
or no.
So when I'm at home, what I do is I just take everything off. I put on a quick banana instead and eat, and then I'll go back to my normal cup of tea. Genuinely, I do that at lunchtimes.
If I ever had to make a video to you to torture you, I'd get that white NASA top and get under that jar and just sit there on the video and just rub it into the top. Like this would be awesome. Just watch your reaction.
The harm, the physical harm, the look
The
on my
physical
face,
harm.
the
And then maybe
tears
to your
rolling down
white
my
trainers.
face.
Huh? Your white trainers as
White
well.
trainers, don't even touch him, man. Can't even.
I'm gonna get some special access from Sign.
Do you know what's mad? Yeah, I have about 11 or 12 trainers, and I only wear about 3 of them on loop because those are the most battered
what's
ones.
that teaching you? What's that teaching you?
Huh? It's teaching
What does
me
that
that
tell
I don't
you?
want to get my white ones dirty. That's what it's teaching me.
And therefore, you should just buy less and just wear
No,
less.
I'll keep them, but I need to get this spray called Crep Protect, which is like stops it from fucking up. So I'm gonna
You're
get the
living a
spray,
you're,
and then I'll be happy to wear it.
you're living a life of fear, man. This isn't the way
I'm
to
not
live.
living a life of fear. I
Just
don't want my trainers getting wrecked.
I'm gonna get you some black Burkhouse trainers, right? Burkhouse, and you can wear them all the time, and nothing will happen, man.
No, I can't do it. Can't do
Yeah.
it, Karen. Can't do it. I appreciate the
Okay.
offer though. I do appreciate
Okay.
it. Right,
Have
next
you got
topic.
Have you got an
Go on.
advent calendar? Let's just tie that
No,
off.
I haven't. Sandra's got an advent calendar, a lint one.
Okay.
And mate, those lint chocolates.
Lint. Oh man,
Lint.
that must be.
Oh, those.
Oh,
That's only like about 10, 15 quid, but good 10, 15 quid worth it. Lint
for that
chocolates are
chocolate some
so
point.
good. So good.
You been to Switzerland?
Where?
Switzerland.
I have been, yeah.
Did you go to the lint store?
No. I only went to
Oh,
Geneva. That's it.
Oh, Geneva's beautiful, but Lindt, I mean, they probably do have one there. It's all over Switzerland, but Lindt stores are heaven, man. And because Swiss chocolate, obviously in Switzerland, is in such abundance, when you go in there and you want to try like free samples, they're like,
yeah,
have as much as you want. As much as you want. Yeah. To the point where there was an evening, I think we were meant to go out for dinner to the restaurant. It's really good. It's just off Regent Street. I don't know if you've been. It's called Tibbetts. I don't know if you've ever been. You weigh your food and you pay what it weighs type system. It's very good. It's like a buffet system. It's mainly vegetarian food, but it's very, very good. Anyway, we were going to go there and we went to this chocolate place before to get some gifts. Had so much chocolate. No space for dinner, man. I just filled up on just eating chocolate. But yeah, that must be a really nice advent calendar.
I would have a better idea. I would have gone there after I'd had dinner as dessert.
You're a clever guy, clearly. I don't take my white tops off. Yeah, you can't help it. Yeah, very clever.
Think about it. Think about these things in depth. Okay, next question. When did Desis start celebrating Christmas? It's a very important question. When did we start celebrating Christmas?
You mean as a UK Desi population, or
yeah, as a UK Desi
Desi population? Ooh, this is interesting. So let's think about this. When did Punjabis come to the UK? So I'm going to think that the earliest Punjabis came 60s.
Some came straight after the war. Some came much later. I don't know when the mass immigration year was, but let's say for argument's sake, it was the 70s. Okay,
so 70s are coming in. They probably don't celebrate Christmas straight away. When did okay, here's the question. When did TV come in? It would have been around there. So I'm thinking mid 70s to early 80s, maybe TV came in. And then Christmas would have been popularized. So I'm going to guess the 80s.
You reckon the 80s? So you reckon they came here for a few years, saw what it was like and thought, yeah, let's acclimatize. Let's start buying the trees, let's start doing the decorations and all that.
Are you going to say this much later?
No, I reckon it's about the same time, to be honest. But I think it really kicks in when you have kids.
Wait. Have you got an answer to this question? Or is it like
no, I haven't. Genuine, just like it just.
Oh, right.
Like,
okay.
I don't know. I haven't gone out and done bloody market research, have I? I've gone round to a house saying, "Excuse me, can you tell me the year you started celebrating Christmas, please?"
Just ask your dad, man. Like your dad is OG. He will know.
Dad ain't gonna know. Dad's not even here this Christmas. Right?
Mate, he's in proper Christmas. He's living it up, man. In the pind.
Yeah, he's there for the elections. That's what he's there.
Boys in the pind. It's him, man.
Not boys in the
boys in the pind.
Oh,
he's original OG, man. I agree. Yes, I agree with that point. It becomes more meaningful, I guess, when you have kids
man.
and buying
That's what it is.
presents and yeah, and you make more of a show of it. And yeah, I agree with that.
Have you ever eaten the Christmas dinner and it tastes desified? Like it's actually got flavor to it, but it tastes too similar to your desi food. And it's like, oh, what have you done to the sugar?
No. We don't add in like masala or tarka to it. Like it is very white.
Hang
Uh,
on, is it
d-
bland?
d- Not bland. It's not bland, but it's not desi either. Like you wouldn't taste it and think, oh, I mean, sabzi.
Hmm.
The the other thing we do, because we have a lot of vegetarians, is in addition to what would be considered traditional Christmas dinner, we'll have other
Pie in
things
it.
like, yeah, exactly. There's some sort of lasagna or pie, and there's always garlic bread.
You want my
Uh,
mum's cheese and onion pie, yeah? You just shout her and she'll make it for you.
Cheese and onion pie.
Siddi garlic,
Okay.
she'll make it for you.
Okay.
Cheese and onion
Uh,
pie. It makes you fart like a madman, but equally, it's good pie.
it's the one in it. Yeah.
I don't like cheese. I don't like cheese and onion pie personally,
Hmm.
but you know, everybody else in my family says it's great, so I take their opinion.
You don't like it because you can't eat it, or you just don't like
No,
it?
I just don't like it. I think when mum was pregnant with me, she had so much cheese and onion pasties. She had a craving for it that I don't like
Yeah.
it. If I
Yeah.
smell it or I'm near it, I start feeling sick. It just
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah. Yeah.
smell
Yeah.
well with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
The crisps are fine, right? But it's
Hmm.
the actual food. It's like the creaminess is just not nice.
Yeah. There are some even I find they smell a bit sickly.
It's sickly,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah. There's some. It's degrees within cheese and onion pasties. And when you guys do it, do you do like the 3 p.m. or you do like roti dinner
You know
time?
what?
Like,
It's random. It's random, innit? Because it depends on
uh,
who's coming over, where they're coming from. Have you
so
got
what's all right?
family coming from
Let's
near and
pivot into
far?
this then. So what's your Christmas routine?
All
Who
right, the
hosts?
routine on the
Where do
day
you go?
is very, very sacred. Okay, it's not sacred at
Sacred,
all. Right, it's not. It's not.
right?
It's
The
bullshit.
Kerala
Basically, you
tradition.
get up. Mum and the other lady spend the majority of the day cooking. Over the years, this has changed into us guys helping them, right? More
What,
and more.
define help. What do you do?
As in, Mum, what do you want me to do? Do this.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want me to do? Do this. Okay. That's
What
pretty much it.
specifically do you do? Give me some examples of tasks that
So
you'd be
last
giving.
year, because it was the COVID one, I did a lot more than I normally do. So Mum left to go
Let's
and open
give
the pharmacy
context.
for like a couple of hours.
Who's at home?
It
Because
was
you
just me,
obviously
Mum, Dad, and Nanny. That's it.
Yeah, you unmarried at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So me, Mum, Dad, and Nanny, it was at home.
Yeah.
And what did we do? So Mum went to open the pharmacy. She left me
Yeah.
and Dad at home. She gave me like a bunch of things to do. Had to put the pie in at this time. Had to roll out the pastry for this. Had to cut this
Right.
up. Had to cut that up. Had to have this ready. Put that on boil. I was like, okay,
Wow, you did
did
a lot.
it. I did
Yeah.
it, but yeah, it wasn't the same. It's only Christmas is only real to me if I share it with the wider family, whether it's my
Okay.
family or Sandra's family now. Like, yeah, it's only real if you have that.
So tradition then. What is the tradition?
The tradition would be everybody comes to Mum's. We all sit there. Everybody opens up presents after dinner. So you'll come in, the food will be prepared. You'll sit and chill,
What
and
time?
then you'll eat dinner about like 3, 4.
Interesting. So you don't open the gifts in the morning.
No, we open them in the evening.
Very interesting.
Evening.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
crazy. I
okay.
don't know why we do that. It's just always how it's been. I'd still think if you open it in the morning, you're kind of ruining the fun of the day. It's like, oh, the build up.
Mate, one year, we had so I had my cousins over from India, Masi, their kids. So and we thought, why don't we open the presents at midnight? So 24th December hits
Oh
midnight.
no.
And then the next morning, it was like, oh, there's like nothing to open now.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? I
So
thought
we only
about
did that.
this.
We only did it once.
One time I had my mama over at Christmas, and he said it's midnight now. Do you want to open a present? And a part of me was like, yeah, but I was like, wait, no, I want to open it tomorrow after dinner, like how I always do it. See, it's weird if you violate the rules and the sanctity of Christmas, it hurts.
Sanctity.
Sanctity.
Sanctity. Not San City. You like saying San City, man. Sanctity.
Sanctity. There you go.
Titty.
Titty.
Oh,
man.
we're becoming like the Bainsy podcast now.
Oh man,
we're delving into uncharted territory now.
Well, speaking of that,
shout
then,
to
we
us,
may as well
boys.
roll into it. How was your conversation with your wife after that podcast? For those that don't understand what we're talking about, a few episodes ago, we did an episode of domestic violence with Godman Baines, one half of the Baines Senior podcast, and it was insightful as shit. And afterwards, I was like proper questioning everything I do to my wife. I was like, raw. Is this a problem? Is that a problem? How do you feel about this? Have I ever done this to you? Have I ever done that to you? You really overthink everything. And she kind of
You
has to
do.
say, yeah. And she kind of has to say, like, chill, it's not a thing. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I should ask you how you feel about the next time I do this to you.
Yeah. Look, I mean, that's good. That's good couple advice anyway. Always, even if you think you know what the other person's going to say, like when we were at dinner pre the show, I think it was the dessert, wasn't it? And you decided, but before you decided and communicate that, you said, "What would you like to have?" And it was just, and then you looked at me and started smiling.
Did
You're
I
like,
say
see?
that?
Yeah. You're like, I'm asking. I was like, it's good, it's good, it's good. It's good.
I'll let you make the decision.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. The outcome could still be the same. It's the point that you asked involved me in decision making process.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. No, look, I think it's good. I think it's an opportunity for everyone to just check in, right? We can think it's funny. Like there are some elements of
Yeah.
we're
Certain
asking
parts
like
work,
funny
certain parts
questions,
of it were
but
serious.
are there areas which I can improve on? Do you think my communication could be better? Because I guess what we found from that podcast is, remember, it never starts because we look at the end result and like, how did you not know you're being abused?
Yeah.
And then you look at the trail and it starts with very, very small things. And so at that point, you may not call it or see it or be aware that this could be something that could grow into something else. So even if you think it, I'll give you another analogy, man. This is like completely the other way.
Oh shit! Fresh from the udder. Go on, tell me.
When I walk from my ward to A&E in the morning, right? It's a long walk. And sometimes I think in my head, "Ooh, do I need a wee?" And then part of my head's like, "No, you don't need a wee." I was like, the fact that you're thinking about having a wee, you should probably do a wee.
You should probably go.
You should probably do it. And so I just end up doing it. So in the same vein, if something pops in my head, and whether it's a question regarding like, do I think I've done something wrong with respect to my, wife or partner, then if it's popped and there's like a bit of like that could fester, I just ask. You just get it out there. And that I've learned from the wing. So there you go, followers. When something pops in your head, when somebody pops in your head, don't let it fester. Ask the question.
You saved that analogy because I was about to say that makes no fucking sense, but thank you for tying it together.
When it pops in your head, address it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, if it randomly comes into your head, like, oh, how did you feel about me saying that to you a couple of days ago? Yeah.
Right. Just say it, because even if it's nothing, then at least your partner then thinks, you know what, he's thinking about that.
I had this thought the other day, which is like, I thought, yo, is marriage like a lot of just gray area? Is that it? Like, I'd say there's black, white, and gray. Yeah. I'd say 80% of marriage is gray area in my limited experience of 2 months on. Yes, I know I'm young in the game, right? But 80% of it's gray area. And then the other two sides is black and white. So
define gray. Give me an example of gray.
So whatever you do, even though you think you're going to have the same reaction from your person, they have the ability to not give you the exact same response that you want. So depending on how they feel, they might give you a very different response to what you would think. For example, what do you want to eat tonight? And you think, we got eggs in the fridge, you're going to eat the eggs. And they're like, I want to eat the chicken you made yesterday. And you're like, oh, didn't expect that, but cool, have it. We'll make that. We'll sit down, we'll eat it. Now that is a little bit of gray area. It's a very small example. Yeah.
That's a good example. Yeah.
But there's many other examples. I'm like, oh shit, living with another person who has independent thought and their own thinking patterns and how they think with their emotions, it's all gray, because you don't know how they're going to react. No matter how much you communicate with them or what you say, their own thoughts are their own thoughts. They can share as much of it as they want with you, but you're not going to be able to fully comprehend it no matter how much you ask or no matter how much you do or what you think is going to be the answer.
So the wisdom on that is reduce expectation. So the reason why we feel a lot of our own emotion, I feel hurt by that person. It's a really, really odd statement, but we say it all the time. It's why? Because you have a certain expectation. Remove the expectation. I have an expectation of myself, not others. That's the first thing. Now, when it comes to your partner, obviously there's a degree of expectation in there, but you need to limit that. And then it's like you said there, like, okay, the chicken and the, what was it? The eggs, right? Chicken and the eggs. Often when you have the preconception of what you think the outcome will be of said discussion, so I expect this to be this, and it's not this, then the natural reaction is to get a bit like, that doesn't feel right. Like, I want to come back with my thing. No, it should be this, should be this. Now, what I've realized is when somebody presents another option, this is more so like, say me and dad are talking about something, and it's about doing something in the house. I'll have like, okay, say we need to fix something or get something looked at. It's like, this is the optimal way I think it should be done. Then dad will come with his view. Now, before it might be like, no, this is the right way. We need to do this. That could be from me or from dad. Now it's like you need to sort of take a step back, look at the other thing that's provided, the other solution or whatever's on the table, and be like, yeah, that's okay as well. That's okay as well. Rolling with it, being a bit versatile, chicken and the eggs. That's a skill though. That is a skill. Because intrinsically, what we want is the way I think things are going to play out should keep playing out. If it's not playing out, why isn't it playing out? You get me?
Yeah, I guess so. But then equally, if she says, "I want the chicken," I'm like, "Oh, okay, have the chicken." Like I don't.
Yes, I mean,
I've just taken the approach of like, okay, you can give me a different answer if you want. That's cool. It's not a big deal. But a lot of it's just grey. Like you don't know what's going to happen in it, and it's like, oh, that's a bit of a weird thing to live with. It's even though you don't fully, even though you know that that's going to happen, you don't fully acknowledge that that's going to happen, and that's a possibility of an outcome.
But it's beautiful because what you're talking about there is levels of certainty and uncertainty. Imagine life where you had complete certainty. So
boring, man.
Right? Exactly. I said coaching.
Imagine you married a Hanji Kuri. Hanji.
Oh, Shindy's gonna love Shindy's gonna love this bit. I'm gonna let Shindy come in when she's listening to this on the oh, she can't come in, but she will laugh at that bit because often and times when sometimes I get a little bit irritated when she tells me to do things, I'm like, can you just say Hanji? I'll say that sometimes, right? And she'll be like, listen, if you had a Hanji girl, then you wouldn't last 5 minutes. 5 minutes, right? And it's absolutely true, right? This is my analogy for what a partner should be is a worthy adversary. That's the way I see it. The best iconic boxing matches in history, right? So why is, Ali great? And someone like Ali great because he had great opponents like Fraser, like Sonny Liston. Okay. So in the same way, your partner needs to be able to mentally challenge you. There needs to be this mental, verbal jousting. She keeps me sharp. I keep her sharp. That's what I want in a partner, right? I want someone to actually point things out, see my blind spots, and give me these references that I'm not seeing. Otherwise, I don't see any value in having someone that close to you that's not going to, like you said, just be a Hanji person. That's not what a successful marriage is about. Communication will therefore involve confrontation, but confrontation, again, let's remove the negative connotation or perception that that's bad.
Yeah.
Thing with confrontation is it's what we call acute pain. So, for example, say you and Sanjay are arguing about something, right? But it's really low level and it's just festering. That can then prolong out. Whereas if you have a big row, so acute pain, bang, massive spike, but you get super clarity out of it. This is what you feel. This is what I feel. Right, what we're going to do to go forward, settled, nipped in the bud. Whereas if you let things fester, you get what we call chronic pain, but it will last for long periods of time. So confrontation isn't bad, and it's good because then you understand what the other person's actually thinking rather than inferring what I think they're thinking or should be thinking. The more you know somebody, you can kind of get that right. But gray is very important. It's really interesting you said that because I said that to a doctor today, junior doctor, first job. And what they get flustered with is, so when somebody comes in, say you come in with a medical problem, and you'd obviously have lots of medical problems, so you'd confuse all my doctors, Indy, if you came to hospital. But say you come in, right, and they wouldn't be able to. Let's say they can't give you a diagnosis. That really frustrates junior doctors because they want to label. As much as the patient, you want to know what's wrong with them, the doctor wants to get it right.
They want to give you a definitive answer, call it open and closed, done, finished.
They can't manage uncertainty. Whereas senior clinicians know that actually sometimes you just don't know, but you're okay with that. I'm okay with that. I know it's not this, and this. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm not particularly worried.
They're in the mode of like, I got to win. I got to get 100%.
It's not that. And it's not that. Life isn't that. Marriage isn't that. Nothing is like that. Getting comfortable with uncertainty is one of the key things in life. And like you said,
uncertainty is uncertainty.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. I don't say that cliche shit, man.
You're basically saying it now, but okay.
But it's true, right? You need the higher level to that: certainty, uncertainty, or chaos and order. You need chaos becomes order. You have too much order, it becomes a boring life. You don't progress. You have too much chaos, you can't function. So you need the balance, the yin and the yang, right?
Yeah.
But it's a constant thing. Life coaching done.
But anyway, aside from that, what did you and your wife actually discuss about the domestic violence? That's what I want to know.
So your take was, your take was you asked Sanj if you do it. Our take was the complete opposite. Shindu was asking me if she does it to me. She said, do I abuse you? I was like, no.
Do I
We have
spontaneously
this,
hit you?
no, it's not abuse. We have this running joke where it's like, so obviously Shindy's self-employed, so she runs her own schedule. So you have to go to hospital. So I'll wake up in the mornings generally earlier, and so I'll go to work, and she'll just be really happy, smiling in bed as I'm saying bye bye, just eyes closed. Her eyes are closed, and she's just like this smile on her face because she knows she's going to get the bed to herself, and she's just like, "You're going to work."
Mate, you could fit 6 people in your bed, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a big bed, man. And and we're two small people, but yeah. And sometimes I'll be like, I'm not going to go to work. I'll just say that, right? And she's like, if that makes you happy, you do that. But just know you're not being your best self. And she'll just do this reverse psychology on me, man.
she'll gaslight you.
She may, like, you know, the stuff you see me do, the NLP, like she does it on me, man. And it's just like,
she gaslights you so well.
Right. Like, so the usual thing is, I give a kiss goodbye. And I'm like, right, I'm not going to give you a kiss tomorrow. If you want to start your day that way, you do that. Like she has all these lines.
She's
right,
withholding the love from you. She's withholding the affection.
She is the master of emotions.
How does she feel after listening to that podcast?
Yeah. She's like, "You all right?" She's checking in with me.
You sure? You can tell me. I promise I won't withhold a kiss from you tomorrow.
Oh, it's brilliant, man. But yeah, it was good. It was good just to. I mean, if anything, we just talked more about the issues, and I think it makes you more vigilant, because even if it's not happening between yourselves, you still have like close friends who you may look at something slightly differently next time, or family or whatever. So I think it's good in that sense that we're talking about these issues. So yeah, I think it was a really, really good podcast.
Very true. Very true. What have you learned from 50 episodes of a podcast so far, Doctor?
That's a very good question. What have I learned?
It is. I'm full of them today, man. I'm fire.
But yeah, podcasting for me, and I hope the listeners will agree with this, guys. For me, it is like live journaling. I do still maintain my written journal, but it has reduced since we did the podcast. So it's a good way to explore my thoughts in a kind of free-flowing, safe environment that's broadcast to the world. But
not safe, then, is it, mate?
It's very enjoyable. Initially, I think there was a thing for me around time commitment and scheduling, but that has kind of gone now because I've personally got into the rhythm of doing it, and it doesn't feel like work. That's the thing. Like, as much as on the day of podcast, it's like, okay, I've got a podcast. As soon as we jump on the podcast, time just
flies, man.
There's no concept of time. It's a great way to meet great people. Not something I mean, when we sat on the podcast, I thought maybe that will happen, but the friendships we formed by speaking to people genuinely is amazing. And the idea I had the other day was, at the end of the year, the photos we get people to send in who podcast with us, we should make a collage, get some software to do it, and then post that out about all the people that joined us on the podcast this year. I think that would be awesome. So I've loved that, getting to know new people. Obviously broaden my my knowledge, perspective, and form friendships. Live journaling. What else have I learned? It's worth having a good mic.
Yes, it is.
Mic now.
Makes a massive difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes a massive difference. And I guess initially I had this pressure on myself about what the podcast should do from a very tangible point of view, financially, or even from a listener subscription basis. And now those things to me are just secondary things. They will come with time. And now it's just, we had that session with James. It's keep implementing and improving our 1% things, like where we came from, what our content looked like to what our content looks like now, all the extra things. And, this is all credit to you because you do all that genius stuff. Handy, giving him props here. I'm just looking forward to, this is year one, man. Like, if we're going to be doing this for forevermore, then
after last week, forever, remember?
Oh God, you said it, didn't you? Yeah. Forever and ever, and ever,
until one of us dies, and then I'll get another doctor, and he'll get another Indy, and it will never die.
So you're presuming that I'm going to die first. This is prediction, guys. You've heard it here first. Indy's going to murder me, and then he will.
Why
have a
would
new
I
doctor.
murder you? What do I stand to gain from murdering you?
You get my
Aside
mic.
from
You get my signed mic.
aside from facilitating Shindy's lifelong wealth that she will inherit from you, what do I
Right.
get out of it? Right.
You get my microphone
That's it. Even though
and my
that's
special
it,
banana.
the microphone.
My banana,
No
special
way,
banana.
what would you leave me in your will? This is what I want to know. What would you leave me in your will?
What do you want?
Ooh.
What's valuable to you that I have?
Nah, nothing, man. It's just you in it. That's it.
You can have my Hackett top.
I'll have your Hackett top. That's fine. Cool.
You go. Tiga.
Fine. I want full custody of Shindy. Thank you.
Full custody of Shindy. What does that mean? Custody?
Yeah?
What does that mean?
Me and Sandra will adopt her, man. Let's go.
Okay, I'm sure she'll be happy about that.
She'll love that, man. Let's be real.
Full custody. Love it, man.
Well, for me, learnings from this year, podcast, let's see.
Go.
Consistency, figuring out why we do it, what's important to us when we're doing it.
Why
more
do we do it?
confidence when doing it?
Why do
I
we
do
bloody
it because I wanted to build up a skill in speaking publicly, airing thoughts properly in a clear and concise way. I've listened back to a few of the first episodes. Fuck me, man. It's like trying to get blood from a stone. Listen to me trying to deconstruct an idea.
When you're angry and ranty,
Not
I
even
guess.
when I'm angry. It's just I can't.
Why
shut
do
the
you
idea
feel
quick
that
enough.
way? I don't agree with you.
Within my own head, I have like a way in which I want to say something, and then I can't get it out properly. And now it's about trying to bridge that gap between figuring out how to say it and what I think and getting it out quickly enough so that I'm explaining it, but equally I'm not running away with the thought and letting it slip and letting it lose its impact. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's been a big thing for me. And within the podcasting space, it's been a education process, and it just figuring out the bits that we want to do each week, who we want to target, what's the purpose of it. And now we've sort of settled on like, yeah, this is a podcast for me and you, and also for other people to come on and tell their story that is in like that's a minority basically, and who's told us their struggles and what they've been through and how they overcame it, and a lesson to learn behind it and a story to tell. That's literally it for now. It might change in the future, but that's what if you look at all of the majority of guests we've had on, it matches that criteria, and that's what we get the most kick out of. So I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. Year one's been great, and looking forward to many more years of this, Doctor.
Yeah, I agree. I echo all your sentiments there. It'd be interesting when we have kids. We'll have to do some interesting scheduling.
Yeah, I did think of that.
5 a.m. podcast.
5 a.m. podcast. Let's go. You'll hear the baby screaming in the background. Let's go. Pure silence. I'm going to need some espresso shots of that early in the morning, man.
You'll have kids by then as well.
Yeah?
You'll have kids by then as well.
Yeah, no, well, but what I'm saying is the espresso shots first thing in the morning at 5 a.m.
To wake up. Yeah.
Oof, the wake up call. Dear Lord. I wanted to round it out with the last bit, which is, have you heard that Google are planning to fire unvaccinated employees? I thought this would appeal to you.
Google are planning to fire unvaccinated employees, right?
Thank you for saying my headline back even slower.
Why would Google benefit from doing that? Why are they making a stance? Why are they?
Because they're trying to be this whole social justice kind of thing, where they're really, really pushing people to get the vaccine because they believe that everyone should have it. Now, I feel the same way, but I wouldn't fire people over it.
You can't.
It's mad. That's a bit dictatorship. Dictatorial. Is that the word?
Yeah. Autocratic. Yeah, it's
much.
Yeah, for such a big. I mean, they're going to get a lot of kickback in that. I think
they won't.
Again, no.
I'll tell you why they won't, because they've put it in a really smart way. The way they've done it is they've said, right, you've got until the 18th of January to prove that you have been vaccinated by paperwork. Yeah, if you haven't done it after that, actually, no, they've got until the 3rd of December to prove that they've been vaccinated. Those that have not done so by the 18th of January are put on paid administrative leave for 30 days, then unpaid leave for 6 months. Then after that, unpaid personal leave means they will lose their job.
Yeah, so they're longing it out.
They're phasing you out. They're
phasing you out, but it's still, I'm asking you to leave. And the only way that works is if everybody, as in all the businesses and the high levels, do the same thing.
Yeah, but no one's
Otherwise,
going to do that because
I
it's
don't
a
know,
bit
man.
fucked, man.
Google did it. Well, no, it's agreed. But if that's what governments want, if they're saying to the NHS now, you have until April. If you're not vaccinated, then bye bye. Just doesn't make sense, man. Like if you've already got gaps, especially in the NHS, you've got massive gaps. Then you can threaten staff. I think what we're better served doing, specifically within frontline workers, let's say as an example, is or those who aren't vaccinated, have a really good chat with them and trying to understand why
This is
you
what
haven't
I'm
had the
saying.
vaccine.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, which is you need to have a chat with them because
Mm,
if you take this hardline stance, you're making the gap bigger between you and vaccinated people, which
yep,
means the unvaccinated ones are going to get more shunned, more
yep,
angry, more
yep,
upset, and then that bridge gets bigger and bigger, and you can't create the bridge over that gap. You can't fix it. It
no,
gets so wide you can't build it, and you're
yep,
making things more extreme and polarized. So I'm like, oh shit, now what do? You're
yeah. And
just
that's
adding fuel
riot
to
territory,
your
man. That is.
yeah, you're adding fuel to the fuckery. It's not a smart idea. I wouldn't personally recommend it. I think it's fucked, but journalistic balance a clock, right? I think it's necessary to apply something quite hardline at times. And maybe this is their way of saying, don't fuck with us. We're the ones who want to do this. And maybe they'll attract people who are vaccinated into their company and who abide by all those rules. And maybe there'll be even more, 100% vaccinated status or whatever the fuck it is. If that
Mm.
makes them happy, if that's
So
how they get their kicks, cool. But Silicon
it's
Valley is a very, very left wing place.
thinking.
It's a very, very liberal place where they
But
really
it's,
enjoy
it's
stuff like
never
that,
happened in history, man. Look at all the vaccines we have in the world. It's never been, and it's still the case. Like if you have a baby, you do not have to get your baby vaccinated.
which is fucked. I think that's fucked. But everyone's got their own opinion, I guess.
Choice, isn't
So,
it? It's all about choice. But this is the first time, in the recent times at least, in history where it's been mandated you must get vaccinated, or
mm.
there's a consequence. And if it's a big one, isn't it? Financial income.
Well, that's financial. There's others in Germany where they've pushed people to one side and they've said, well, you can't go shopping or visit hospitality venues if you're not been
Yeah,
vaccinated. So
yeah.
they've taken a more not softer approach. It's actually more extreme,
Your
but it's
liberties, isn't
infringing
it?
on
Yeah,
certain activities, not all the activities.
yeah.
Maybe that's
It's
how it starts.
negative reinforcement. Exactly, is how it starts, isn't it? And I guess, look, if you're somebody who's vaccinated, then obviously this doesn't affect you, but you should still be able to appreciate, choice. There has to be an element of choice, and there has to be greater understanding. It doesn't help with all this shit like it's circulated and misinterpreted. And even today, I don't know if you watched the briefing. I was watching it before the
Yeah, which is
podcast.
bollocks, really. The briefing was bollocks. I thought he was going to say lockdown, but he didn't. I was like, so why are you doing this?
Yeah, I wasn't so much talking about Boris, but Prof. Whitty's slides when he was saying that, look, people are looking at certain elements of data. So, for example, the Omicron variant in South Africa, it's not as bad. We've got less hospitalization. He's like, well, if you're looking at the data, actually, no, it's just that at the point we're at now, we haven't actually got the data on, let's say, mortality, so number of deaths or accurate number on hospitalizations. We haven't got that. We've got infection rate going up. We can see we haven't got these other things, but just because we haven't got them is not the same as this isn't as bad. And then he made some really, really good points, actually, that I think people need to take on board. And I like where he comes from, he's not a politician. There was one question that was asked by the ITV news journalist, like really like bang, put
Tested.
Boris on the. Yeah, you see the question? It was something
Yeah, I
like,
saw the question.
well, if you vaccinate now, we're not going to see the effects for 4 weeks. So why aren't you telling people not to go to the pubs? Like he's basically, and good question, because the guidance at the moment is very like do what you think is sensible. Is basically the guidance rather than rule of six, two families. There's nothing. It's all like stay at
Yeah,
home, go to
because
work,
it gives
and
people the options to do what they want. It stops the government from getting any flack from
yep,
doing
for being a
anything
military
too
state. Yeah.
draconian, right?
Yep.
So it's like, okay, let's just let you guys do what you want. And yeah, it makes sense. But then you've been told you're not going to work, but you're told to go to Christmas parties. So essentially, you can have a party at work, but you can't go to work. And
So
I found that quite funny
I've thought about this. Why is he saying that? Again, it is that point
because he doesn't
about
want the hospitality venues to lose out, but they already are losing out. So
well, that's from their side, but I think from the as a person side, the consumer side, it's like, okay, if your work can be done from home, that's fine. So why not do it from home? Like that makes sense to me. But if I can then still have a bit of a social life, that's okay with me. I understand where he's coming from in that particular point. Rather than doing it, say, the other way, saying you have to go to work. Well, it's like, well, if you can do the work from home, that's fine, but you can't really socialize at home with all the friends.
But we've covered this extensively, haven't we? With like opposing views. So remember Goldman Sachs saying you got to go to work. We need you back at work in the office.
Yeah.
And if the government and the government's incentivized people to go back to work, they said stay at home, then say go to work because the economy needs to boost in money. Hospitality venues need that to carry on. You got to do it to keep the economy going. Like, yeah, I can see it, but now it's just like, hang on. If your job was able to be done from home anyway, move with the times and move towards it, because you have to firmly embrace it. You can't keep jumping back and forth. You either fully embrace it or you don't embrace it at all, and you let people do whatever the fuck they want now, and you say carry on going to work and do what you want. The issue arises is when you flip between the two. And I know people, I know humans are people of habit, creatures of habit. Yep. When you start messing with that, people start getting angry and upset because they're like, 1 minute it's this, 1 minute it's that. Just give me some fucking routine and let me choose what I want to do. And it's not doing that. And people are on edge. Like today, prior to the briefing, everyone on Twitter is like, lockdown coming. Because they think it's the next thing that's going to happen because it's happened 3 times before.
True. And I think it does give a sense, there is clarity in it. It's like, this is it now. Like, this is all it is kind of thing. Whereas, look, the one thing I did come away thinking, I do actually like the way Prof. Whitty had to say it like 3 or 4 times, but he was like, do I need to be here? Do I want to be here? That's a question people need to ask when they're socializing now. Is it a need or a want? So the Christmas example, like, okay, I want to be with my immediate family, celebrating together on the day. That's more of a need, right? Whereas the want is all the other build-up things. Do it if you want, but then there's a risk of X, Y, Z. There's obviously personal risk to yourself, and there's risk to other people in terms of spreading. They're asking for people to increase their level of personal responsibility, right? So they're trying not to infringe on liberty. Bold move. The full lockdown may still come. I'm interested to see what the post-Christmas approach is. And, he mentioned from a personal point of view, he mentioned like, look, this new variant, even if you're vaccinated, you're still going to get the infection. That's going to affect NHS staff getting infected, isolating, being unwell, big gaps. Even Sanj, before we came on the podcast, I was asking her and she was saying there are reports of, I think, local hospitals to you where people are scared to go into hospital, which happened during the first wave when we had...
Yeah, exactly. It was like that the first wave. That's nothing new.
No, but look, from a person working in hospital, there was like an optimal point where we had genuine emergencies coming to hospital. We had the people, and then we didn't have the people that don't need to be in hospital coming because they were scared. And then we had obviously the COVID stuff. And it was actually like, oh, if we had this level that we had to service, our NHS is bloody brilliant. Like, we had the ratio of clinicians to patients at that point was awesome, man. Like, we were just delivering proper care in a kind of, I don't remember what the stat is now for what should be like the safe ratio between number of patients and doctors. I think it should be 1 to 5. It's never 1 to 5. But in that period, we genuinely had that number. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not talking at the ITU level. They had much different pressures. I'm talking about front door. I see the stuff as soon as it comes in. So yeah, that's maybe one good thing. People actually think about, do I need to go to hospital? Because if I do go, there is a risk of getting COVID.
But there was always that risk anyway. Even if you went now, obviously it's heightened with more and more cases in there. But
yeah. But you know, it is the hype died down from no one's really caring about COVID, whatever, the vaccine's here. Now I think generally that fear is coming back. That briefing today, again, it's not Boris who I don't look at him as the marker for fear. When Prof starts talking about it, I'm like, okay, this is genuine. He's always on about, and he doesn't. He's got no kind of political agenda.
He doesn't have a political agenda. Yeah, that's true.
No, he's like, this is the stats. This is what it is, and he answers questions properly. He doesn't. I hate with Boris, man. He gets asked a question. Laura Koonsberg, first question, basically asking, do you think lockdown could come? And he's just going on his 2-pronged approach. You can talk about that, that's fine, but then talk about, well, either say we're definitely not going to have lockdown, or say lockdown could be on the cards.
Yeah, but Karan, they're never going to say that. They're always going to keep the door open. And journalists have to ask that question in case they catch him slipping. But they're never ever going to say yes or no because they never know what the future is going to hold. And one thing I do sympathize with the people in government with sometimes is when they say, well, hang on, if we do one thing early, we get crucified for it.
Yeah.
Do one thing late, we get crucified for it.
It's
So
fine.
we genuinely can't win. And I feel that pressure and pain. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you can do things correctly and early, but then you get criticized. Like say in Germany, they've been super conservative with it, and they've been very, very careful about coronavirus, and that's caused issues with their own people having like riots and stuff. So it's like, okay, that's you going early. Now you go late, people die. So which way do you have it? And you're screwed as the guy who runs government, because people won't forget that and how you reacted to it. There's no correct way of acting
No,
throughout this whole thing.
there's no playbook for it. The only way is transparency. That's it.
Yeah, if
And
you're
the
transparent
problem-
about it and you can build up wider understanding amongst the whole nation.
Trust,
that's
understanding,
fine.
awareness, increased personal responsibility. The problem is everything he says is being seen through the lens of scandal, scandal, scandal. That's the issue.
Because he's had scandal after scandal after scandal in the last week. So naturally, people are
that's
going
the
to be
issue.
like, we want to fucking crucify you.
Yeah.
So because you've
Yeah.
given people so much ammunition, they want to release the bullets now. That's
Yeah.
it.
And I'm
Everyone's
seeing
got
it,
them
man.
in the chamber.
Are,
Any excuse, bam, 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 bam. That's it. It's done.
there are Facebook polls which I am seeing, and it will be like somebody's asking the question: is the government lying to us? Vote number one, and something like this. Or I saw another one today. It was like, I'm going to get the third vaccine. I've lost all faith in vaccines. And there was something else. Like these polls, I'm talking in the thousands, people are voting. And I was watching these things. I was like, bloody hell, man. There was a lot of, like you said, this kind of under the carpet pressure that's building. And you're right. In other countries, there have been physical riots. I don't think we've had that at any point in the UK.
No.
But we're very
we're a very polite nation, all things considered.
Who fight with their words and like will say things and I don't agree with this, rather than actually like
you're
kicking
the
off.
one who told me this, I think, which is queuing's a very British thing.
Queuing, yeah.
Queuing's a very British thing, but abroad it's like a free for all. It's like, no, fuck it, let's just go in. So
these are rights.
I think as a nation we're a little bit too polite. Don't get me wrong, there's bigots and racists and all that shit. Yeah. But as a generalization,
overall,
the stereotype is British people are very polite.
Yep.
Yeah. So
you look at our special partners across the pond, the Americans, large scale protests, that it doesn't take long for those guys to protest.
Yeah, but there's also, are there more of them? Yeah, there is more.
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Many. There's only like 50 odd million of us. So
yeah. There's many more. But you're right. Part of that is culturally ingrained. That ours is we fight with words and we always, we just debate, and it keeps us safe to a degree. But I don't know how much longer. That's the thing now. It's this next thing. Like, is how long do we live in? When comes the point when we say we accept as a nation that you're allowed to die from coronavirus? I think
it's going to have to turn into the flu eventually, because how many more booster shots can you give people? How many more of like these vaccine push outs can you keep doing? It's fucked.
That's the question, man. That's the question.
Yeah,
when is that point where we say this?
Essentially,
this is it now?
you're going to keep doing this. Then you're going to keep undulating all the time, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like, okay, we're out the woods. We're back in it. We're out the woods. We're back in it. It's like fucking hell. Just
the only way it works is
just live with it now. At this point, I think that's the only thing you can do.
If the rate at which the virus mutates, right? So we've had all these variants, right?
This is I don't know
alpha
which
wave,
actually.
Alpha wave, delta wave, the Omicron obviously variant now. So if the rate at which the variance decreases, and therefore in between those periods, you have very high herd immunity, that's when I would suggest is the point where you're like, okay, this is not acceptable. As in the infection rate is at a low rate, and you've got a highly immunized population. That's probably the only way. The problem is at the moment it's like bang, 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 bang. It just keeps coming. And what Prof was saying again today is because Delta wave hasn't gone away either. This is just now you've got two variants at the same time. One is super virulent, and we're just seeing it's just going up. That's worrying. That's
one last question on this, and I promise we'll stop. So my question is, if the theory is if everybody in the UK was vaccinated,
right,
would this still be a big problem?
When you
in
say
an ideal
vaccinated,
world,
you mean
everyone in the UK was vaccinated,
triple,
and then Omicron
fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
If
everyone was like that, would it still be a problem?
To a degree. So
But to
You-
this
you-
degree, or to a degree where you don't
so
have
should
to
he
introduce all these
have a
restrictions?
lockdown? Restriction, yeah, good question. Oh, that's a very tough question. What I want to say, this is my optimistic brain, would be a fully vaccinated population would mean that a lot of people still get the infection, not a problem. We don't care about the number of infections per se. It's about how many
Deaths.
infections. Well, infections lead to hospitalization, which lead to death. Remember, when somebody dies, they're again, this is not a nice way of thinking about it, they're no longer a burden on the system. You're thinking about
Yeah, true.
yeah, it's the ones that lead to hospitalization that lead to critical care.
Oh,
It's that
long COVID and stuff. Yeah.
long COVID. Oh, yeah, as in a hospital. You're right. As in long COVID is another problem that's the NHS is dealing with. You got people living with COVID that still now develop this chronic illness, much like diabetes and heart disease and things. So long-lasting effects. But in terms of hospital being overwhelmed, that's the thing. I wanna think that in a fully vaccinated population that we wouldn't be overwhelmed. Yes. That's my standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we won't be overwhelmed. So it'd actually be livable. Everyone can still go about their day to day. It would be cool.
Yeah.
So at this point, then I don't know,
But-
man.
and-
Everyone's
and the
gonna
thing
have their own
to-
take on it, I guess.
And the thing to remember is, although we keep making analogies with the flu, right? The difference between the flu and obviously coronavirus is that, oh yes, although the flu is a highly infectious disease, it doesn't spread at the rate at which corona does, number one. Therefore, it doesn't overwhelm the system. Deaths per capita, I don't know what the stats are. As in, I know a lot of people die from flu each year, but I don't know if it's comparable, as in, to what we're seeing at the moment. So we can't compare it in that sense. That's the other thing that people need to understand.
Got it. Thank you for being a doctor and telling me the ins and outs of this. I appreciate it. It's been very, very helpful.
Pleasure.
I could tell you're a bit tired.
No, it's just something in my eye. Got all these lights on, got this crane, got this arm, like all this gear, man. Wearing nice clothes. This isn't what I do, man.
This
It's
isn't
not
you. This isn't the
not
frugal
me, man.
life.
It's not
you chose,
authentic,
bro.
man. Oh,
Gotta act like J-Lo in that video. What is it?
what?
Oh,
From the
what's
block.
that video?
Jenny
Where she
from
goes
the
walking
block.
down the beach and she starts taking off all her cuppa, and she's like, "My love don't cost a thing." You're gonna be doing that one day.
My love don't cost a thing.
Yeah, and you're gonna be doing that because throwing all this shit up. I don't want this Hackett jumper. I don't want the mic. I don't want the laptop. I'm my fully naked, authentic self. That's what you're gonna be like.
I've got a friend who's written a book called Naked Truth, which is just about that.
Knew it.
Yeah.
See, someone's already taken the idea and done it.
There you go. I know them as well. So yeah.
See, there you go. Right, shout out to Karan for this year's podcasting. Thank you very much. And I think you've got one more left, isn't it, for this year?
Yeah, next week we shoot.
Next week,
Oh,
yeah.
we may have a special guest.
may
or
have
we
a
may
guest,
not
we
have a
may
special
not.
guest.
We
may
shall
not.
see where the
Shall see.
land lies. Or
Yes.
see how the land lies. That's how it is. That's the phrase. Anyway, guys, thanks for making it this far. Let us know your thoughts about the mic. Has it been clearer? Is this have a lot more clarity? And we have enjoyed this entire year. Hopefully, we've been this for a long time.
Sanctity.
Sanctity,
Sanctity.
whatever you want to call it.
Sanctity.
It's cool. Don't worry about it. Stuff with the titties, okay? It's fine. Anyway, thanks for listening to this week's episode. Please do leave us a like. Please do leave us a comment. There's a poll on Spotify now if you want to just jump into that and answer it. That'd be really great. We're not mining your data and selling it to anyone else. Fucking hell. We just want feedback on the podcast. That's all. It's one click. We appreciate it. Leave us a review on iTunes if you can. And we will catch you guys next week. Laters.